Thanks again for this class today. I think we have the full session now, right? I hope everybody who is attending the class today, they would have gone through the first, they would have undertaken the first class as well as seen the videos. Even if you guys haven't done it, I think that's fine. In today's class, we are going to focus more on your joins and writing the SQL queries. While in the last class, we were focusing more on your update and entered. So yeah, Vaibhav, thanks a lot again for joining this call. Please start the session.
Sure, thanks. First of all, welcome again to the second session of this SQL classes. And like, I'm not sure how many of you are new again in this class, but in the last class, we have discussed around some of the basics of SQL, like, how to create tables and various operations on SQL and different kind of strategies, performance tuning things we have done, just a basic overview of things in the last session. This session would be, I would say, a bit advanced in terms of, so we would be discussing the most important concept of SQL, which is this thing, joins, like, how we basically combine our tables, right? And how we uh, do various kind of operations when we join certain tables, like grouping, aggregations, and there are some other ways as well where you basically combine your tables. A lot of the time would be going in this session on demonstrating things, right? And yeah, so I think we should get started without wasting much of our time. We are already late by 5 minutes. So 1 second, let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, these would be the topics that I'll be covering in this particular session. We'll be having things around joins, again, union or and string functions. We'll not be covering windowing functions in this particular class to make it more, demonstrative. And yeah, so see, how so why we call joins as the most important concept of MySQL, because using this you basically combine your data from any other different entity present across your system. Okay. and uh, uh, and it basically gives you access to actually fetch any kind of data from based on a different tables. We do a lot of such things into our real time things. Suppose if I want to the major use cases lies on the data analysis and the data engineering side. So obviously, on the backend side, we do maintain a lot of tables, and for the insight purpose, no single table will give you the complete insight of how the data would look like. So obviously, we go around joining more tables and bringing more columns onto the disk, and so from there onwards, we basically generate a lot of insights. Okay. Join is one of the way by which we combine two tables. Okay, table A, table B. So this is the way how we combine two tables. Okay, so that we could use the two information at the same time. Okay, and there are different type of joins. Okay, so mathematically, we go by, suppose there would be inner join, left join, right join. Okay, full outer join. So totally four types of join are there. There could be another join as well, like self joins. A lot of things are asked in interview, but we would be covering the very basic level of joins which someone may need, because if you use at least at least these three types of joints, you can easily work on the other two set of joints, which is full outer and the self join. Okay, so because the self outer join, sorry, the self join and the full outer join is basically derived from these three joints only. Okay, so yeah, so this is how things looks in join. So as I've told you, there are around five types of joints, but majorly our focus is on inner, left, and right now. Okay, the other two are derivations of the first three. Okay, so if I were to showcase you, so see, these are my two tables. Okay, I'm using the same data set what I've used last time. Okay, so it would be easier for the audience to understand actually. So see, this is the product table, this is the product lines table. Okay, and so these two tables have a key in common, which is product line. So product line is the key, which is a primary key for product lines table. Okay, and similarly in the products table, we have this as a primary key, and product line is the foreign key, which is the primary key for product lines table. Okay, I repeat myself again. So product has a foreign key, which is a primary key for this table, based on which we'll be basically joining two tables. So this is another way we basically join two tables. I mean, apart from performance tuning benefits for creating your keys, you basically join two tables because you want to derive some of the things from the other tables, right? So let's go with a very basic level of join first of all, which is the inner join. Okay, so the inner join is something which is like intersection of two tables, like whatever sort of common information is present between both of the table, so it would join those two tables on the common set of keys. So suppose if I join product and the product lines table based on this product line key, because I have this key present in both the tables, right? Product and product lines. So I would just be getting the records whatsoever is the common between these two tables. Okay, so like this is how you basically write a query. Okay, select star from the table 1 inner join table 2 based on your key. Okay, I've given the aliases as well. Okay, I'll tell you why we need to give the aliases. So this p and pl are the aliases for a table. Okay, so and based on the product line, you're joining these two tables because these are the common keys which are present across both the tables. Okay, so like and why I have given two separate aliases, because there could be suppose product line is the column, I again want to fetch it in select clause. Okay, so if I don't give an alias, it would give me an error that you need to specify from which table you want to select this particular column, because this column is present in both of the tables actually. So if I go and write like, so you can see, right? I'm not sure like if you're able to see it or not. So product line is the field which is ambiguous if you see it from here. So what it means is this particular column was actually present in two tables. Okay, both of the tables actually, products and product lines, and you need to specify from which table you want to actually derive it, because otherwise, when this whole statement get passed, the the parser basically gets confused from which table it needs to extract the information. So because we are using a intersection join, which is the inner join, we can specify any of them actually. Okay, so like p dot product line and then it will give me the whole information you can see here. So similarly, so I hope you would have got why we basically give the aliases. Okay, and now there are other ways as well, by using which we basically select certain type of columns. Okay, so you go and basically check what are the different types of columns available there. And so the first way, how you basically get the data from by joining these two tables. So suppose P is the alias for this, PL is the alias for this. Then you go and write it like P dot star comma PL dot star. Okay, which means get me all the columns for P and PL, which is products and product lines, which has these common keys present between the two tables. Okay, so if I go and select this thing, I'll be getting all the columns from product and product lines. Okay, so these three, so all the columns from second table would be getting appended to the last. Okay, so up to this product line, so these were the sorry up to this my name, these were the column from my table 1, and these are the columns from my table 2. So all of these tables got basically appended with each other. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you select your columns from when you basically join your two tables. And apart from this, so like how these things are basically working internally when you basically are running this whole query. So as I said, it's an inner join. You basically joining these two table in on the product line keys. So if you go and check whether this particular key on which the whole of the table was getting joined, whether these were the keys which was actually present in the product line table or not, you can go and check individually as well. So this is for product and this is product line.
Vaibhav, I think people are asking to zoom it a bit. Is it possible?
Uh, the
Console?
Is it better now?
Yes, I think this is better.
Okay. So if you go and check for what is there in product lines, okay, so you will see these are the different type of product lines which are actually available in this particular table. And you could see only two of these are basically present in my product table: classic cars and motorcycles. Okay, so if I go and check here, classic car and motorcycles are the keys only available. So as I said, it's a intersection of two tables. So only the records which basically matches with these keys would be basically joined with the product lines table. And suppose if I want to fetch any kind of descriptive attributes from my product lines table, suppose a text description, I'll just be getting the text description for the first two. Okay, because only the two keys are actually matching with the product lines table. Okay, so if I go and run it, then you can see the text description is coming for all of them, because the motorcycle these three keys has a match in product lines table. And that's why we are getting it. If there was no match, then we would have got something like a null here, like so there would have been a null, like similar to this column, there would have been nulls here. Okay, so this is how inner join separates itself from a left join or a right join. Okay, so this is the major, I can say, difference between an inner left and right join. Okay, it basically depends on your use case, like what kind of join you want to use at what point of time. It is basically your own intelligence actually. So like how I decide, or this could be another question from the audience, like how do you decide which kind of join to use? So I would again say you basically see the data first of all. Okay, you do not just go and query the things directly, or you just do not go and blindly put a join at any point of table. So you basically judge first of all what are all the things that I basically want, and what are all the things that it can actually give me, considering the thing that you should not miss out on any data, because suppose if you used a inner join instead of a left join, it could be the case you basically missed out on a lot of records or transactions, right? Because there are joining parameters in between. If you used a wrong type of join, you are basically miscalculating the data. Okay, so that's why it's very important to first of all understand your data. It completely depends on your use cases, what you how the type of join or which type of join you want to use it. Okay, so in the inner join, my use case was get me all the products along with their textual description. Like I want this particular column from my product lines table. So this is my product lines table, and I want the textual description. So what I want is get me all the common set of rows, which are which has a common product line between two tables, so that I can get a textual description of the textual description of the rows whatsoever was present in the products. So you can see, right, all the rows what were there in the products table has a textual description attached to it. Okay, so this is how you basically perform an inner join. Okay, and you can use too many conditions over top of this as well. So suppose if I want a where clause over top of this, and I can use this where clause at any point of time, and for any table actually. So suppose I want to have my product line as motorcycles only, so I can use like p dot products is equal to motorcycles. One second. Sorry, this is a product line. So I got only 3 records which are for motorcycle. So you basically applied a global filter over top of whatever the result set you were getting from here. It is very similar to a select clause. You just gave an extra condition, okay, where you basically no, tell the table at the end before giving you the end results, like just give me all the records for motorcycle. Okay, similarly you can use other conditions here by using and we can use many set of columns here, like product vendor is something. Okay, and similarly you could have you also used aggregates over top of this this particular join. So suppose if I want to have the sum of the buy price, okay, then and suppose and group by product line, so get me all the this thing, uh, get me the this thing, sum of the different quantity in stock based on motorcycles, which is the product lines. Okay, so what I could have done here is I'll be selecting this particular column here, and sum of quantity in stocks group by product line. There's some component in the column. Yeah, so this basically gave me the complete sum for a single product line, which is basically motorcycle. Okay. So this is how you basically perform your aggregates and filtering clause. Okay, and you could also use you could have also used something like a having clause here as well. Uh, Having clause is basically used to put a filters over top of your aggregate, like suppose sum of this quantity in stock is greater than suppose 1,000 or 100. So obviously I got the result because I have set it something like here. Suppose if I would have set it to around 1 lakh, right? So then I'll not get anything here because I have given a filter. Yes, see, say I didn't get anything because I've set a filter here. Okay. So it is better to give some of the aliases here as well, like as total quantity sum. Okay, to give a better naming for whatever columns you are selecting. Okay, let me remove this thing as of now. Okay, so I hope you would have got the understanding around how the inner join basically looks like, and so it is just like a intersection between two tables, right? Where one key is basically getting matched to your other key, okay, and only the common keys basically gets matched. The uncommon doesn't get matched, okay. So I hope this is clear. If there is any doubt, we can clear it at this point of time only because right and left is a bit confusing from here. So anyone having any doubts, please tell me in the inner join. So you basically go and check your error in this particular action output. Okay, your error would be your error would be basically displayed here. So suppose in the response section, so you can easily drag the things here. Okay, and you can see, suppose you could easily read one of the error code 1054 unknown column quantity in stocks. Okay, so you would be getting more understanding around the errors when you basically try to write your own sequels. Okay, uh, most other things would be clarified automatically because it's a very friendly GUI to use. I would rather suggest everyone to use first of all the workbench rather than going on to shell, because it could be a case when you write things on shell, there could be problems like new line characters. Like suppose you're pasting a query, but there are some of the garbage characters, and it would be difficult for you if you're a beginner to basically go and debug the things in the terminal. Okay, so my suggestion is to use things on the GUI first of all, rather than going on a terminal. And so, uh, how to remove duplicates in a SQL on condition? It's a separate topic. So see, we were supposed to cover windowing functions as well. So I would have easily covered how to remove duplicates based on SQL conditions. So there, you basically use different functions. Suppose dense rank, row numbers, to filter out your records, and there are other ways as well, like by giving limits and offsets in SQL, but unfortunately it's not a part of this this particular session. So we'll be covering a lot around joins, combining tables, and how to play around with the joins by giving some extra columns and some more conditions. So guys, any question around join, I would love to answer. Okay, so someone joined late. So I will just give you a quick summary of what the inner join is then. So see, so inner join is, so join is basically used to combine two tables, and there are various types of joins. So inner join, left join, right join. Okay, and just assume there are three types of join here as of now. So inner join is just like when you basically combine your two tables based on your common set of keys. Okay, so if I were to showcase you again, so suppose there are these six different product lines. Okay, and I could easily see in the other table there are somewhere around 7 to 8 different type of product lines, but only the first two gets matched to products table. So only these two records would be getting matched to my product lines table. Okay, and would just be giving me the textual description from here, based on whatever columns I select here. Otherwise I'll not be getting any sort of record. Suppose if I use some other different conditions as well. So only the common keys would be fetching me all the records here. Okay, so I think we should move on to the next set of join, which is the left join and the right join. Do we know we don't have any other question? So see, right join is something which basically gives you the complete set of information from your right table. So see, we call tables as so this we call it as a left table. Call this as a right table. Okay, so now we are using a right join. Okay, so this is only for your understanding. We are calling it as left and right, and there could be n number of joins present between different tables. But to make things look easier, I'm just using a single join. So I'm calling just for a moment, like this is your left, or this is your right table. Okay, so that it would be easier for you to basically understand how right join may have looked like. Okay, so again, the syntax remains same. The only thing that get varies is this thing. I've used right here. Okay, and I've used inner here. Okay, so this means you are right joining product and product lines table again based on the same keys, because we just have a single key present commonly between the two tables. So that is why I'm using just a single key. There could be a case where I also need to use multiple keys as well, like and condition is there, and then suppose p dot key 2 is equal to pl dot key 2. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example. Key 2 is not present anywhere across product or product lines table. Okay, so just giving you an example here. Like this could also be the case where you need to join your tables based on the multiple columns. Like something sort of a composite set of keys are getting joined here. Okay, again based on your requirements. I mean, you could have also used three set of keys as well, right? So let's first of all understand what do you mean by right join. Okay, so I think I was having a equation here. Okay, so see, if you want to understand from a mathematical point of view, like I'm assuming you would have basically went through sets theory in mathematics, right? So there you basically created you basically create Venn diagram. So assume it like this is your table 1, this is your table 2. So table 1 when joined with table 2 fetches you all the common records, right? So that was inner join, right? So this is the area which gives you intersection, right? And mathematically as well, it just gives you the common set of records, right? So like you can see here two tables are getting joined but on the same keys. Similar thing I have shown you in SQL Workbench as well, right? So this was the concept of inner join. Okay, let's not see a full outer join right now. We don't have a right join situation. Okay, let's assume. So see, again, we have two tables. So like, the way this, like almost like a half a circle is painted with some color. So like call it as this as table A as left, table B as right. So what would happen in, a right join is this whole portion would be getting filled, the one which is in table B. Okay. The so what it means is the one which has common rows between two tables and all the rows from your table B. Okay. So this whole area would be getting highlighted basically. Okay. From the table B in case of right join, and in case of left join, you'll just be getting all the records, sorry, all the area of the circle, which means all the rows from table A and the one matching with table B. Okay. So let me tell you this by giving an example. So as you would have seen, we have something like a product lines table here. There are multiple keys. Okay. And we have assumed this is a right join, right? And this is our left table, which has only two set of keys which are common from my this table, product lines table, right? Only motorcycle and classic cars are there, but not the other set of things, right? So once you go and join here, okay, so I'll be getting all the set of records from my right table, which is the product lines. The one which are matching will give me all the values, but the one which are not getting matched will just give me all the nulls. Right. You can see here, right? So see again. So like, if you just see, these were the result set of your inner join, right? Like, we got this result set from your inner join because we have these sort of common keys. Now if I see, there are other keys as well, right? Where you basically you can see, right? uh, these were the keys which were not present in your product table. So that's why we are getting null here. Okay. So we got all the things as null from your table A, because it didn't get matched to your product lines table. Okay. But all the records from your product lines table would be coming here. Okay. So these are your records from your product lines table. I mean, after I think this product lines, everything. So these three columns are from your table 2, which is your product lines table. So that's why you got all the set of records here and null here, because there are no common keys, right? These things doesn't have any entity in your product table. So that's why we basically got nulls here, right? And similar set of things, group by, aggregate, where clause, whatever I have used here applies here as well. There is no partiality around things where like you could only use it with in a join or something. So right join is again is one of the things which basically gives you, I mean, again, depends on your use case, what are all the things that you want to perform. So suppose I'll give you a classic use case of how the things may look like. So like, assume you want your product lines to be a superset, right? Or a superset of a information, like a universal information, like where you want to have or consider it like which will basically satisfies it basically satisfies all of your information whatsoever maybe coming in future. Suppose product is the table, okay, which has only these set of records as of now. Okay. But going forward there could be more set of records as well, right? Coming in, which may be having a different product line, right? So you should have your tables aligned in such a way that no matter whatsoever new product line is coming here, it should automatically get matched to here. Okay. Like right now the conditions may be like, some of the nulls would be coming here, but but somewhere near in the future, if the data comes for this key, it should be present, right? I mean, then you would be getting some similar set of records from here to here, right? So this is how we think towards when we basically go towards joining a table, like what is my superset, okay, and what is my deriving table basically, how so there is a concept called a main table in the data engineering world. So you basically place that table at the very first point when you basically join two tables. Okay, so consider product as your very first table. We should call it as a deriving table as of now. Okay, but here you can see this is your superset table. Okay, so now I want everything from my second or the right table, to get matched to whatsoever is the incoming rows from my left table, which is the product table, right? So that's why it was placed intentionally that I should have all such rows present in my data. But you can also think it like I just want to have the common set of rows, right? So similar thing works with left join as well, right? As I have told you here. So left join works like you will be getting the whole everything from table A. Okay, everything from table A and the matching with table B. So suppose if there is any key which doesn't get matched to anything from table B, then you would be getting nulls similar to what we have got in this particular table. So then there would be some nulls here actually. Okay, so suppose if there were present some of the keys which were there in products table but not in product lines table, then you would have got a nulls in your product lines table, right? So yeah, let's run this part once, which is the left join. So why you didn't get any kind of nulls in from your second table? Because everything was already present in your second table, right? Which is your product line table. Every key got matched, right? Otherwise, you would have easily got some of the nulls here. So this is the very uh, you know I mean, it may look to you like this is very confusing, but once you write yourself some of the joints and some of the other conditions, it would be easier for you to understand. It is a very simple concept, okay, where you basically join two tables, and left join gives you all the set of rows from table A and the one which is matching with table B. And on the right on the right join, you basically get all the set of records from table B and the one which matches with the table A. Otherwise, you'll in other cases you will be getting nulls from that the other table, which is either table A or table B. Okay, so yeah, this is around inner left and right join. And there could be a case as well, like you must have heard of situations like this is a very general question asked in an interview, like uh, you want to have the employee manager questions would be there, right? So everything around employee and manager question whatsoever is asked in interview is around self join. Okay, so this is the first thing that should actually strike in your mind, that if there is an employee table and they are basically asking me to get me the manager name. So assume it like every manager is itself an employee as well, right? So you should be using a self join there. So self join has this particular application where you join the table with itself. So it may look like something like this. Select star from product P. you call it as a cross join as well, right? So you're basically matching with all the set of records. So I've just given you a basic syntax, right? uh, Normally there are two kind of keys. There should be actually two kind of keys present in, a single set of table, which basically gets referred to as employee ID or the manager ID. Then you basically join two of these IDs together to fetch the employee and the manager name. Okay, so this is how your cross join basically looks like. So all the set of records from product one gets matched to product two. So there are n cross m rows. Okay, so you can see, right, totally 18 rows came when we basically multiplied these two together. So this is just like n cross m of anything. Okay, so and full outer join is a combination of left and right join. uh, I mean, giving you too much of information at this point of time may seem confusing to you, because I'm not sure, like, whether you would have, easily understood the concept of inner left and right join. So that's why I'm not putting too much of, stress on to self and full outer join as of now. Okay. So, but I should show you how the syntax and all looks like for a full outer join. So there could be syntax variation when you basically write two set of I mean, so suppose how I basically use in some of the DBs is like I basically write full outer join. Some of the DBs would be having things like outer join. Okay, so the syntax would basically vary from different DBs. Okay, so I think it's a full outer join here. Should have worked. It gave me some error. It's not working here. It should not. This position. Not getting the exact syntax on this or not. So by default, if you use join, it's like inner join. And there must be some other syntax for this thing. I need to check the syntax for this. But otherwise, if you have any questions till now, I can answer all of them before we jump on to string functions and union. So yeah, any questions as of now? So are you asking about the condition when we go for full outer join, Abhijit? No, you can use anything for your aliases. I've just given the one which were really close to your product and the product lines table. Okay, you could use any actually. What is null safe join? Even I'm not sure about this. What is null safe join? I need to check that. This is a good question. Seems like. So what is a master table and a transaction table? in this case, I didn't get you. What is a master in transaction? When did I say transactional table or something? It's null because the value is null, right? So it's null because nothing got matched to the other table. So if we have two or more table, then how to use join function? Join function as in join is not a function. So you basically use the same set of syntax what I've shown you. Select the columns from your table one and inner join or whatsoever join you want to use, table two and the condition. Yeah, you can join on multiple keys. I have shown you the example light where you can use multiple keys with your AND operator or the OR operator, right? So I have checked, we can't use a full outer join in MySQL. So we will have to go with something called as a union and union all, which I'll cover in the basic, the next, I think, half an hour. Okay. Any more questions before I jump on to the next one? Because this is a really important concept. Just we should just focus on the first three joins, inner, left, and right. Forget about full outer or the self join. This because in the real world scenario, you'll not be working on a self join and a full outer join. I have personally never worked on a full outer join because you need not to actually. Okay, so full outer join is not supported in the SQL version what I'm using, and but I'll surely showcase you how to use it when you have by using some of the other ways. Okay, so okay, let me share my screen again. We don't have any more questions. One second. Okay, so so these were all the things that I have already shown you. Okay, we could have used. So these are all. So up to this point, we have covered the joints and the grouping conditions along with your where conditions. Okay, you can use any kind of group by functions like sum, average, max, min, count, whatever. Okay, and yeah, then these group by examples. So all of these things I have already covered in the observations from here. Okay, grouping and filtering is being covered basically here in this example. Let me know if you have any questions. You can answer still now. Having condition, the one which I basically gave here, having of sum of quantity greater than 1,000, if you remember. So yeah, this is a very important concept, and this is very so this is one of the concepts which is very similar on the lines of join. Both of them basically joins your table. Okay, so how does a union and union all basically gets differed? So understand it like there is a very minor difference between these two. So uh, suppose you have a situation where you want to join the tables. Okay, but you may not be so so there could be a case where you do not need to have the columns from your other table, right? So this is one of the situations where you could have actually avoided join. Okay, there could be another situation like we are right now into, suppose now I want to have a full outer join, which is a combination of my left and right join. So there you could have used a union and union all. Okay, because it's a combination of two set of tables, right? So if you can see from the example, union versus join. Okay, so table one union with or union all with table two gives me this thing. Like, all the data gets appended to the, the table structure from table one. Okay, so the restriction which what we basically get from here is so whenever you basically union or union all two tables, your skeleton of the table should basically remain same. Like, your select clause basically should remain same. Okay, because like suppose if there were three columns present in table 3, sorry, table 2, so then it will be throwing an error that, the two so the structure for these two tables that doesn't match, so you should use the same set of columns. This is the error you will be getting. But when you see from it from a joins perspective, I basically got all the set of columns here, right? Column one, column two, column one, column two from table one and table two, right? So, I mean, 90% of your use cases would basically be satisfied by using joins only. Okay, union and union all, I have personally used 5 to 10% in my whole career actually. That's like a very, very, special use case. You again need to identify whether I need to use it or not. Okay, so when I actually use it in, one of my scenarios in the data engineering world, so I was getting different kind of conditions. Okay, and but suppose, assume it like this. So see, you got only the distinct set of records. I'll showcase you. Yeah. So product has somewhere around 6 rows, I think. Okay. So I joined the two tables. Okay. Product, union all with product. Okay. So it basically gave me all the duplicate rows. Why? Because I've used the all here. Okay. If I would have used nothing here, it would just have given me the distinct set of rows. Okay. So this is how you basically combine your two tables. Combination can happen with joins as well. Combination can happen with your union as well. Okay, a lot of your use cases would just fall in joins only. Okay, very very rare test cases would basically fall under union. The one which basically fall under union could be like, you basically want to have suppose this table joined with, suppose I can say inner join with some table 2 on some key is equal, key 1 is equal to key 2, right? And yeah, so this thing along with this thing. Okay, where you want to, basically use your union things. Okay, all the time go for union all, never go for union actually, because the so this is how you basically also try to avoid duplicates. All, by giving an keyword like all, give me all the values. If I remove this thing, I'll just get a distinct set of values. So it's just good to have all the data, then you basically apply filtering over top of your data. Otherwise you will never be able to understand where the, how the records got filtered. Okay, first start with all, then remove this particular keyword. Okay, so this could be a scenario, where you could have used a union all situation, right? Where you basically want to have some similar set of data within the same table only. Okay, so like you used it here, and you union all with the single table, right? So you need to identify your use cases here. Like, in my use case, the the query format was something similar to this. Okay, so yeah, now we can also try to look something like a full outer join here. Okay, one second. Can use the same thing here. One second, I'll explain you everything here. So you can see, right? It's a combination of your left and so see, it may seem to you like a complex query. So like see, there's no such keyword as full outer join in this particular SQL version of MySQL. I think MySQL 8 or something has the facility to basically full outer join, or there could be some other DBs as well, like Postgres or something, which gives you a direct combination, like you just give like a full outer join and you can easily join it. But in this particular SQL version, uh, you basically have your left join first of all. Okay, you have your right join. Okay, then you union all. Remember, right, I've told you, it's a combination of your left and right. Okay, so that's how you basically union all things. So this could be your things from your right join. These could be your set of things from left join. Okay, so, and not sure like how the result will look like if I use a union here. I think just a distinct set of rows. Yep. So see, only the distinct set of rows got here, like, because uh, I'm not sure, like whether you're able to visualize it or not. All these records were already present in your right table as well. So I just got a distinct of this. Okay, and if I used all, I would have got extra 6 records. See this, extra 6 records, 3 for motorcycle, 3 for classic cars as well, right? So any confusion around full outer join as of now, when you actually do it with union and union all. And moreover, apart from that, you can also use the similar set of groupings and the conditions here, like where some column is equal to, sorry, some column is equal to some value. Just a second. And group by something, and you have your sum of the aggregates here, sum of something, right? So you can use anything here, but remember, you should have the same format, whatever is there you using here. Suppose if you are selecting 3 columns here, you should be selecting those 3 columns here only. It should not be like you have 3 here and you have 4 here. Let me tell you by giving an example, it would be more clear to you. One second. So suppose if I choose product. Okay. I'm just selecting a single column. Okay. Now, suppose if I go and select one more column, TL dot something. You can see, right? I'll copy and paste it for you. The statement used have a different number of columns. Why? I use 2 columns here. I use a single column here. So it doesn't work with different set of columns. You should have a similar set of columns. So that's why I said use similar set of columns based on a different condition to basically combine 2 tables. Okay. So till now we have covered things like how you combine 2 tables. You combine 2 tables either by using joins or either by using union or union all. Okay. A lot of your things get satisfied around your joins. Union has very rare use cases. So you basically use union when you wanted to play a lot around, different conditions around the same set of tables as well, like, similar to this. Okay. So yeah, this is everything I have covered around how you combine two tables. Okay. So before we jump on to how the string functions work and everything, I want to see if there are any doubts or something. Yes, we can share the PPT, I guess. Right, Ram, we can share the PPT with them, right?
I will not be sharing PPT, but we'll be sharing the video recording.
Acha, I think we have it posted on YouTube as well, right? There was some channel.
Yes, yes. So yeah, recording will be posted. We'll share the recording with everyone.
Sure. So guys, you'll be getting a video recorded session for it. Someone is asking that if they can take a screenshot of the slides, can they?
No, no, then they can do anything, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so they can take screenshot of recording. They can do that, right?
Yeah.
But presentation will not directly share. We'll share the recording although.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the other set of things. One second. So yeah, these are the string functions. Okay. Uh, so see, I have covered four string functions here, and this will basically help you get most of your work done. Okay, and I mean, I use them a lot, and there could hardly be any case which doesn't get covered under this. And if there is anything, I get it basically done during my ETL process when I do data engineering, right? So let's cover them one by one. So first of all, let's see what is trim. So trim is like, as the name suggests, trim is like, you basically want to have the spaces removed around your data. So see, we get a lot of garbage data, from the outside world. When I say outside world, it's like some of the things, which were not handled properly on your application DB when the application was running. Some of the garbage values basically got entered to your DB, right? So assume it like, this was one of the value which is looking like this. Like, you could see there are spaces around SQL tutorial, right? So you could use a general function like left trim, right trim. Left trim means remove all the spaces from left of the string. Right string means remove all the spaces from right of the string, right? So after you use a left trim, you basically get this thing, you know a complete SQL tutorial without any spaces. So trim basically removes all your spaces, extra spaces present in your around your string. Okay, it has no relevance with what is present inside the string. I mean, these spaces would definitely not be removed. Otherwise, there is no sense around the data, right? If I remove these spaces as well. So I'll showcase you. So yeah, see this thing. There is something, there is some string written here. Okay. So if I go and run it, it will give me this thing. There is no spaces present around here. I mean, ignore this one. It has no space here because I have removed it. So in general, we use trim. Okay. I don't go with a specific one, whether left trim or right trim, uh, because sometimes you don't know, like, on which side you will be getting the spaces, right? So it's a good way if you use a more general operation rather than a left or the right one, right? And then there is something called as concat. Okay, so concat means you basically want to concat your strings. Okay, so suppose there are present multiple columns, like, suppose first name, last name, and you want to have it as a new column called, suppose, the full name. So you use it as select concat first name, last name as full name. I'll show with an example. So see this thing. Now this whole string would be coming as this. Okay, Weber, WFF, KUAR, okay, and garbage characters. Okay, so now as I have showcased you, there are some of the columns in products table, which I will be using it to concat. Okay, so products table concat lowercase, uppercase. Okay, let's try to run it first of all. Okay, so what basically happened here? Okay, so you basically nested your everything here. Okay, this is L case. L case means lowercase. L case of product name, uppercase of my name. Okay, my last name. Then concat everything. Okay, I repeat myself again. Lowercase of product name, uppercase of my last name, and concat everything together. You could use multiple set of string operators as well within the same line as well. So this is what so by this example, I was trying to showcase you how to pipeline your operators as well. Okay, otherwise you could have just used this thing as well, right? Or you can use, okay, you can see everywhere it is and fork at the end. So lower again, if I to showcase you thing. So I hope you would have got how the pipelining works. So first of all, these things get evaluated first of all, and then the whole thing. So the functioning is from inner to outer. Okay, first the inner things get evaluated, then the outer ones. So these are like very important functions one should know. These things get asked in fresher level interviews as well, right? And so I have covered uppercase, lowercase, concat, and trim. So there is another a very important thing which is substring. So you know it basically happens sometime like we get certain kind of strings, but we want to extract a specific character. Okay, so suppose like assume from a real world scenario, there is a card number, suppose a visa card number like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 0 0 something and something. Okay, and you basically you basically want to pick the first four character, because basically then it will tell you whether it's a visa or a mastercard or some other card. Okay, so I'm giving you a real world application of this. Based on this, you basically judge, like whether it's a visa card, mastercard, or whatever. So how you basically extract a single set of information from this whole string. So then you use substrings. Okay, so how to use substrings? So suppose I go and query my data. From there I'll showcase you how to use it. Okay, so let me explain it by this. So substring of this particular column start from this particular uh, part of the string and till this part. Okay, let's see. 1 second. Let me pin it. Okay, so yeah. Now this is your output, and you basically go it like this. So yeah, this thing. Or let me do something for you so that you can see it all together. Okay, so let's understand this. Start at first position, which is C, till two characters, okay, which is C and L. Similarly for motorcycles, start from first character till your two characters, M and O. I mean, you can take it up to any length actually, and obviously till whatever is the length of the string. Suppose 5. Okay, so you basically get abstracted with such strings. You can use it somewhere. Suppose abstracted string, and now like as I was telling you, you can use it anywhere around your case statements, right? Suppose you want to use it like case when something and performs those kind of things, like case when your string is this thing, then it is this thing. When your string is this thing, then there could be some other situation, right? So substrings are basically used under mostly under such real time things, at least when I do things. Okay, so this is around your string functions, and I think we are left with last 10 or 12 minutes before we jump on to the set of questions. Otherwise, I have almost covered everything. So let me give you a quick recap, or whatever we have covered. So starting from SQL, we covered joins, type of joins, union all. So the first 4 points got covered under how to combine tables under SQL, right? Either you get you can combine tables using joins, and or either you basically combine table using union and union all. When you want some different set of columns present in your select statements, and you want to basically derive insight from uh, different set of tables, you majorly go with joins, until unless there is very some specific use case around union of tables. And then we discussed around grouping of things, and how the filtering works over top of join, how to use multiple keys in joins, and left, inner, outer, full, all those joins, and string functions, trim, concat, uppercase, lowercase, case, and substrings. So yeah, a lot has been covered around this. Uh, I would have loved to cover it windowing functions as well, but unfortunately, this is a 1.5 hour session, and I need complete another session even to complete windowing functions. That's like a so if you cover these major topics, I think you're getting prepared really well. If you want to go into your data analytics field, or I mean anything in data analytics field, be it data science, data engineer, business analyst. So all of these roles require at least this much of information, and very well practiced as well. Okay. So yeah, I would love to take, or hear from you on the questions or something, so that I can answer it. Apart from that, I've covered everything. So would love to hear your feedbacks and questions from you.
Guys, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. I have allowed you to unmute yourself.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि बाय चांस जैसे कि हम जब कोडिंग करते हैं तो कभी कभार कोडिंग हमारी सही होती है लेकिन फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं एरर आ जाता है, तो वो एरर ना आके तो हमें मिस्टेक कैसे पता चलेगा कि एरर आ रहा है, और फिर हम उसको क्लियर कैसे करेंगे कि ये एरर कैसे हटाएं कोडिंग को यूज करके।
So by coding, you mean SQL programming, right? Not the software engineering coding, or what do you want to say?
In software only, if some kind of a error is coming, so what I have to do and where I have to go to remove that error immediately to use codes.
So see, I mean, as we are discussing around SQL, so I think I should first tell you around how to debug as a thing. So, whenever you get such problems, you should try to hover over your the statement which is being marked under, a red line. You would have seen it in during the session, right? There are statements which were getting marked red, and I was hovering over the statements. So there, it will just tell you that something is being expected from you but you have not done it, right? So there you basically try to identify your errors, and moreover try to practice more. It will give you a lot of understanding, where the problem could have occurred.
See, I'm working in coding regularly, but sometimes my concept is not clear and it comes error.
Okay, so see, if from the programming background, if you have any of the problems, I would rather say, try to do a lot of coding on different platforms. Like I do on LeetCode, okay, and do some open source project so that you get very efficient while try when you do things, because you can't resolve syntax error till the time you are very well adversed with the uh, your
Basically, I need some kind of a person to help me on the spotly if I'm doing coding wrong. So if he will be telling me ki your coding is not correct, this when what I'm saying that is correct, so I will correct immediately so that my error is not come.
See, for those things, I think you need to practice. I don't think even anyone would be able to, sit directly with you to, to tell you like,
No,
this is.
no. Only I want some kind of a guidelines that if you're doing coding, so your codings will be your code. If you're writing a code, so you have to write accordingly. You can't write from your side.
The last part, I didn't get the last part actually. What you want from it actually?
So can you show your slide? I will tell you. I think
Okay.
I just forgot. Maybe I will just see the slide, then I will be understanding while you are
You want to
explaining.
see the slide?
Yeah, I want to see a slide.
Okay, 1 second. So this is the slide, okay?
Yeah, the union all one.
Hmm.
Yes, this one I don't understand.
Okay, so this topic you didn't understand.
No, frankly
Okay.
speaking, don't understand.
Okay, so see, union and union all was a concept of joining the two tables. Okay, so you basically use it. There was one case where I was discussing there is no way to full outer join directly in MySQL. So there I used a full outer join. I mean, I used a left join, I use a right join, and I use a union. So union basically append the rows towards the end. You can see it here, right? Table one, table two, you union it, and the rows gets appended here at the end, and in join the columns get appended here. Okay, right now just assume it like this is how it is working. Okay, so, and moreover, when I showed you in this example as well, I was showcasing you uh, this thing. So this is how a full outer join works. So I use this right join, left join, and complete union all. So all the records get appended after whatever the records of the first table were. So you basically append the records here. Okay, appending means appending row wise, not the column wise. Okay, so row wise appending will basically work here, and column wise will basically gets appended to joins.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you show the coding once again? P is for product, right? And L for line. L stands for line, right?
It's PL, product lines.
Sorry?
It's product lines.
Okay.
So, uh, like I would suggest you create a database, insert some rows, and then, try to practice these concepts, like, very, very thoroughly. Then you will understand more, like, whatever I say.
Basically, sir, while you are start the coding part, so I also doing side by side. But sometimes when I do side by side, so I can learn easily. After that session is over, then I do again coding from the starting. So somewhere I just get blank. Okay, now what I have to write.
Mayra, you can use your recording. Right, we'll be sharing the recording in 2 days. Right, that's a solution at least for now.
Because
Yeah.
because if I will see the recording, so I will be remember nicely and concentrately. Then I will see. So
Yep.
where I will be get the recording, my mail or
No, you will get it by mail. We'll share a link with you. In case if are you part of our batch cohort data engineering?
sorry.
No, so in case if you are part of our data engineering batch, they are actually we are sharing it directly in their LMS system. In your case, you will get a mail, with the link of recording.
If it is a possible, so it's good because I didn't join it yet because some kind of another classes also I'm taking language class and 3D animation class. So I didn't join it yet.
Which one you haven't joined?
This data one.
No. So what I'm saying is, if you're part of our own cohort, right, there you will access these video on your LMS. And in case if you're coming from outside, we'll share you an email that will contain the link of this video recording for today.
I'm from outside only.
So you will get a mail, with the recording.
Okay.
So we'll need around 2 days because from Zoom itself it gets in 6-7 hours, and then we'll do some editing before sharing with you. Right. So give us 2 days before you can get hand on it.
So sometimes when I do coding from the starting after attending the session, so some kind of codes I missed out. So I don't remember that कि इस लाइन में अब ये कोड डालना था. So फिर वो error हो जाता है.
That is actually part of learning, right? I think most of us have learned, after making mistakes in code, and sometimes the mistakes are just as simple as just spelling mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So that's a part and parcel of learning, how to code. Right?
I'm doing regularly, but sometimes I get mind distracted. So just my concentrate is gone, totally gone.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, Mahira. So it's all about practice, right? So even guys, after this class, right? So what we have done is like we have Vaibhav has introduced you to the basic, part of SQL. How the SQL queries are constructed. But I think it still requires a lot of practice, right, Vaibhav? So Vaibhav, can you tell students also where to they can go for practice for more SQL queries? Something that you have in your mind, something that you prefer for practicing.
So I have a sample DB with me. Ram, I'll be sharing it after the class. You guys can go and import those statements and play around with all the database. And I would again say practice a lot and lot. And like even if you don't have a subscription for LeetCode, practice around Geeks for Geeks. It has a lot of basic questions and tutorials point that basically comes for free. But yeah, when I give you a sample DB, obviously it means that extra effort of creating things. I think it would be better for you rather than jumping for LeetCode, because it has self-created things. Until and unless you create tables and insert statement and create do a lot of things around errors, I think that's the only way to learn. So yeah, I would rather say create things rather than jumping onto something advanced.
So basically, while we do a coding, so we need a proper concentration. If basically you don't do coding concentrately, so mistakes are coming again and again.
Yes, Mahira, actually that's a part of programming, right? The coding requires some concentration, right? You have to, and sometimes it is very hard to even debug your code, right? I think Vaibhav would agree with this. Everybody who has done this programming, sometimes debugging takes much more time than writing the code from the scratch.
Uh,
It's
Ram, let me take it. So Myra, so I'll give you an example. So sometimes it basically happens with me. The code I'm writing, it basically sometimes take me a week as well to write suppose or or to solve a single DSA problem as well, data success algorithm. So just be patient enough to keep learning, and things will surely turn out. You just need to have a lot of focus and concentration, and just be patient. Yeah, well, 1 week of time, like you can imagine, right? For a single question, it basically tests my patience as well, but you need to be you need to stick to it.
So basically, when I do the coding, sometimes I get scared because of the errors are coming.
If you have fear of something, face it.
I face it, but then I leave it. Code there only.
Then you
So
should
I
fix
just go to tutorial and see what mistake I have done. Then I go to my coding page. Then I rub it all and I do again.
it. That's
Then
fine.
it is then after that it is successful. When I concentrate in one thing, so it is done. But sometimes mind get distracted, so my whole coding go wrong.
I think then you should also see how to achieve mental toughness as well. So I think Ram, we should answer some other questions as well.
Okay.
yes, guys. In case if you have another question,
Yeah,
uh,
so I got the
hello.
question, if we want to import a very large CSV file into MySQL, how we can do that. So yeah, you have load inline utilities to import such things. MySQL Workbench is not a really good tool for it, because in my data engineering world as well, uh, I get a lot of such things where I need to generate extracts out of the DBs directly, for some ad hoc basis as well. So we do it on terminals. Okay, you use load inline utility, and then so there is a utility for it. Okay, uh, I'm not, so there is something called as this thing. Let me share it with you once again. So Ram, I'm not able to send a message to this chat. Actually, I'm not sure. It's showing some error. So there is load data in file, and then you specify your file in the local, and from there you can directly load large files CSV, whatever the size of the data. When we should go for straight join and self join? Straight join means inner join, right?
Vaibhav, I have made you the host, so you will be able to send the messages directly to everyone.
It's showing Antwalk team 5 is not in the meeting. This is the error I'm getting.
Okay. Maybe something has happened. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sir, you send na in the chat box.
No, I'm not able to send it
No,
actually.
no, Ram sir will can send
Okay.
the chat
Vaibhav,
box.
can you make me the host again? I will try to send it in the chat box.
uh, I need to make you the host. How to do
Yeah,
that?
actually, I have made you the host just now, right? So that you were able to. So you can go to this my name Ram, right? And on the click on the more,
Okay, okay, make co-host or host.
make me the host. Yeah.
Okay, sent.
Okay. And uh, send me that message that I have to share with the group.
uh, Privately.
Yeah, privately.
Okay. I've sent it to you. So this is the utility to load the CSV files. into MySQL. So when we should use MySQL, MS SQL, I mean, yeah, it completely depends on what you want to achieve out of it. I mean, any kind of transactional DB for application purpose, it's a good choice. There is no any such hard stop or something like you should use MySQL or MS Server.
Sir, can I ask?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, when I was importing using PHP admin, and there is I saw some code in Stack Overflow, like we have to load in file, like there is a 4 5 line code over there. But I tried using that code and I got a lot of errors. So, is it possible if we can split the entire file into parts and upload it? And because using code to enter the entire file, it's not working for me, because showing lot of errors, and it's taking me days to figure out there, but I'm not able to do that also.
So you are using some programming language to load the data, right?
Yes.
I think that's a genuine question. So you could rather, I mean, see, there could be a couple of answers for it. So the first thing is do not try to do it from a programming language. It's not a good way to paginate your file. The first thing is if your system is really small and your file size is of somewhere around suppose 10 gigs, you would never be able to open the file as well, right? What I would suggest is do it from terminal. Do not do it from
I mean, actually I did through terminal only. The programming, I don't know, there is a 6 line code only. It's, I think, PHP, I don't know, but it's there's throwing lot of errors. Actually, I wonder how we able to import that kind of files and do the work. So that's the problem that's happening to me right now.
Okay, I think we don't have answer for that. That may be very specific case with you, Babu. Okay, should I share this one in class?
yeah, this is the way to load it. Actually, you can share it.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Hello, Weber. My name is Nakul. I am actually a fresher. I'm just a recent graduate. So I was looking for opportunities maybe in data analytics and business analysis. So I started with RDBMS. So like you said, like go for lead code or geek for geeks. I want you to tell me basically that I'm very skeptical uh, about how much I should learn at this point of time, because I'm just a beginner to this, and I don't have any prior knowledge of all this stuff. So can you just tell me how much is important to land up a job and maybe learn along with the job?
So if you're new to this field, I would say be really good at SQL. Okay, really good means really good. So it means this should be a primary skill. Okay, and then you should focus on somewhere around data success algorithms as well. Okay, because data engineering does not only mean you should be good at SQL. It involves software engineering as well. Okay, and a good system design as well. So I would say, first of all, focus on SQL if you are good with it. And specifically in SQL, focus a lot on around joins, aggregates, and windowing functions. Windowing functions would be your last go-to topic actually, but joins and filtrations, aggregates should be the first one, because from a fresher, I mean, no one would be expecting that much level of information where you would be using windowing functions a lot. So yeah, and so these 3 to 4 things, if you implement, I think you will get some good job for sure. And practice on
Uh,
code. Lead code has a really good platform.
So guys, so we are going to this last question. Yeah, anybody has a question now?
Sorry to interrupt. Just one thing, like how long do you think this will take? Like a month or maybe couple of weeks?
See, there is no timeline for anything, right? Like if I assume if you sleep 8 hours a day, then you can imagine you can work 16 hours a day, and it can easily be achieved in I think 3 months.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Ever.
Okay, no worries. Anyhow, if anyone wants to have any queries, they can connect me over LinkedIn as well. That's not a problem. So yeah, I think Ram, we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Vaibhav, for your time. I think this was absolutely engaging session. Right. I personally liked it. You know that I think many of us would have seen these functions, but at least having it from the basics will give us also confidence to go for higher and more complex query writing. Right. Thank you everyone for being part of this class. Right. As a part of NPOC, we keep on launching these kind of workshops. So log into NPOC, register with us, right? And please keep on monitoring what kind of sessions we are bringing. Other than that, I would have told you earlier also that we have some boot camps also, right, on cybersecurity, on data engineering. We are also in about to launch a few more boot camps in November, right? So keep looking at our NPOC website just for more more sessions like this, as well as the new boot camps that are coming up, right? And please use the class that we have taken last week and this week as a springboard for your career, right? Start practicing your own data. I think that we are going to share the database that Vaibhav has created. Use that one, right, to practice, as well as try to go to the different websites, and please start practicing the SQL. It's the syntax wise, it's quite simple, but there are always a lot of questions, challenging questions that can be made out of SQL. So especially around the joins, and in case so once you also level up, probably you will be starting writing sub queries and Windows function. Right, use all those things, level up yourself, and I'm very sure you will be able to land up in a very good job. Right.
Sir, one last question.
Okay, so Fabu will take the last question and then we'll close the session.
Sorry, sir.
It's okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Fabu, sir, what is the difference between SQL and Python? Like I'm learning Python, and all these are there in Python. So why SQL?
So your question is, what is the difference between Python and MySQL?
Yeah.
So see, Python is a programming language. MySQL is a DB. I mean, you are actually comparing Apple with Orange. Okay, so
Like all this we can do in Python.
see,
Like I'm a beginner. I just started Python, so.
Okay, so see, Python is just a language. Okay, so similarly, MySQL is a system. Okay, SQL is a language to communicate with system. So similarly, Python is a language which basically helps you communicate with everything around the world. Okay, assume it like that. So you can connect your Python with MySQL, but you can't write direct statements of your MySQL into your Python directly, right? So Python has its own way of doing things around SQL. Okay, I mean both of these things are like has a really different way to do things. So one is like a programming language, another is like a query language.
I mean, we can write the programs in Python. Huh? All these joins and all are there. Yeah.
So see, yeah, you can use join anything you can do in Python. That's what I'm saying. There are again ways to connect your Python to your MySQL. Okay, if you want to do something in SQL, then you can use directly SQL, right? Why would you go for a longer way? I mean, obviously there are applications where you need to do such things, but if there is no need to, don't do it. I hope this is clear.
Yeah, in Python also, actually we have some libraries, right, where you can start using the SQL queries, right? But it's more like there's a workaround to use SQL inside the Python.
Yeah, everything is there. you can, so there is one directional communication is definitely there from Python to MySQL.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have taken a lot of questions. Vaibhav, thanks for staying for 15 extra minutes for answering our queries. Thanks a lot, Vaibhav, and thank you guys for attending this session. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, have a remaining weekend, good weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you guys for joining.